Welcome to the Shoreline, brought to you by Shores and Islands, Ohio, where finding your Lake Erie love is a sure thing. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Jill Bauer, PR Manager for Shores and Islands, Ohio. We bring you the Shoreline every week to give you the inside scoop on what's happening here in our island and coastal communities. Welcome back to the Shoreline as we wrap up the month of May. All of this month's episodes are brought to you by Ghostly Manor Thrill Center and Goofy Golf. Are you ready for outdoor fun? Head to Goofy Golf in Sandusky. With two 18-hole mini golf courses, an arcade, go-karts, and a new 32-foot rock wall, it's nonstop excitement for all ages. Open daily, only at Goofy Golf. Find those details online at goofy-golf.com. So, with June and the rest of the summer months on the horizon, now is a great time to remind you all of the amazing special events we've got coming up in our region. Our May and June event highlights are on our blog, and of course, you can always search our online event calendar for everything that's happening. I am personally looking forward to longer days and warmer nights, Lake Erie sunsets, and ferry rides to the islands. Ohio Bike Week kicks off this weekend for all you motorcycle fans. As usual, they've got a great lineup of rides and rockin' concerts. I'm also looking forward to Vermilion's Festival of the Fish, the Toast of Ohio Wine Festival, the return of the Party at the Pier concert series, and the annual Put-in-Bay Pirate Fest. You can find the details on all of those upcoming events online at shoresandislands.com. Also, be sure to keep listening as we continue to bring you a great lineup of guests to inspire you throughout the summer season. Today, we get to highlight a few of those fun summer events, ones that are taking place specifically in Huron, Ohio. Joining us from Destination Huron is Rachel Summerfield, event coordinator with the Greater Sandusky Partnership. As events coordinator for the Greater Sandusky Partnership, also known as GSP, Rachel Summerfield brings energy and heart to every event she plans. She oversees GSP's vibrant markets, including the Huron Lakefront Market and the local farmers markets, working tirelessly to create spaces where small businesses can thrive. As a small business owner herself, Rachel is a passionate champion for local entrepreneurs, curating events that are not only successful, but also fun, lively, and collaborative. Beyond her professional role, Rachel is a proud mom to 3 children and 2 dogs. In her free time, she enjoys giving new life to old furniture, showcasing her creative spirit and eye for potential. Whether she's organizing a bustling market or refinishing a vintage piece, Rachel is always building community and fostering growth, one event, one business, and one project at a time. Welcome to the program, Rachel.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. At first, I just want to kind of ask your personal business. You mentioned in your bio that you yourself are an entrepreneur, and it sounds like you're refinishing furniture. Is that how you got connected with the marketplaces? Did you start out as a vendor?
Yes, that's exactly how I started off. I've always loved anything creative. I would get my hands into that. And so it started off with furniture restoration, or just painting it fun colors. And it was actually my sister Leah, who she is the original lakefront market organizer.
Mm.
And she invited me to bring my items to the market, and that is really how everything started, and it just snowballed from there. I think that was 2018, 2019. So yeah, it started off with furniture, and then somehow I started designing earrings, and the earrings really took off.
Oh.
And I was doing markets in the surrounding area, and traveling to one of the places I traveled a lot to was Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I was doing curated events there, Columbus, Ohio. And yeah, I just fell in love with markets and connecting with people and other creators.
Well, let's give a quick little plug. What's the name of your business?
It's Paper Kite Creations.
Oh, very cool. I have heard of you. I'm sitting here curious. I'm like, gosh, I hope it's something I've heard of. I have. So that's amazing. I probably saw you at the Lakefront Market. So
Yeah, okay.
So let's start there with the Huron Lakefront Market, which you have been very instrumental in putting together this year. I'd love to hear more about this really popular event on the shores of Lake Erie. It should be coming up this weekend, I believe, but why don't you give us the details about when it is, where it is, the hours, all of the basic details people need to know to visit?
Yeah, so it's going to be June 7th, the first Saturday of June. This year, it's going to be a little different. It's only going to be a 1 day event. It used to
Okay.
be hosted on Friday and Saturday. So this year, it will only be on Saturday from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. As of now, there's 50 plus vendors.
Wow, that's a huge event.
I feel like it's going to be a great event. And so of course we're going to have a lot of our Lake Erie love inspired vintage goods, handmade candles and earrings and all the good stuff. A lot of small businesses are coming back again for this season. We also are still going to showcase our young entrepreneurs.
I was actually going to ask about that. I wondered if that was still a part of it. Tell us a little bit about that program.
I love the young entrepreneurs. They're some of my favorite people.
Mhm.
And there's going to be on the upwards of seven. We'll say seven of them, just little creators that we got earrings and baked goods. Someone is actually specializing in gluten free baked goods, which I'm really pumped about.
And these are like high school students generally, right? Or younger?
Younger, there's someone that's as young as 7 years old
Wow.
attending.
That's so cute. And I remember several years ago, one of those vendors, Christina's Creations, started out as a young entrepreneur and now she has a home bakery business.
Yeah,
And that's really cool to see, these kids start out as part of this program and then turn it into, thriving income.
I think it's awesome. They get to connect with the community and showcase their goods and basically just put themselves out there. I think it takes a lot of guts to do that, especially when you're that young.
Absolutely. Is there an admission cost to get into the marketplace itself?
No, nope. It's a free event and we the entire community to come support all the small businesses.
And what's the location again?
That's going to be at Lakefront Park.
And do you know, for Lakefront Park, is there what's the parking situation like? Is it like will there be plenty of parking? Would you recommend people park, further away and walk down to the park? Do you remember what that's like?
The parking is always a little wonky, and we were just talking about that because with it only being a 1 day event this year, shoppers have 1 day to come out. So I think parking is going to be a challenge.
Okay.
We encourage anyone that can walk a longer distance to save those spots up front for people that have a harder time accessing the park and really just kind of park a little farther away and enjoy the walk.
It is. It's a really lovely area, and Lakefront Park is adjacent to the pier, so there's parking at the Huron Pier. You could walk. I mean, it's maybe a block or two at most, and there's probably plenty of parking just around the corner from that. There's the bowling alley and the hotel, and even the Huron Boat Basin is really
Yes.
only a couple of blocks away. So there's plenty of parking in the area. I would maybe just recommend, like you said, if you can, please try to park a little bit further away. Maybe bring a wagon or something along with you to
Yes.
to haul
Yeah.
all your goodies back. But yeah, leave those spaces up front for the folks that can't walk as far. And I know that there's actually quite a few parking spaces right around the park there, but I'm not sure how close the vendors are going to be set up to those parking areas.
We always encourage the vendors to, of course, park as closely as possible to unload. But once you're unloaded, we usually ask them to move their vehicle immediately so that, people can, well, it just kind of keeps the movement going.
So, Rachel, are there going to be food trucks there again this year?
Yes, we're going to have 3 food trucks this year.
Oh, that's awesome. So people can get a bite to eat while, shopping. You mentioned nearly 50 vendors. Do you know who some of those vendors are? Do you want to maybe highlight some of them?
Yes, one of my favorite vendors. I shouldn't say that. It's a lot of them come from the Sandusky Farmers Market, so I know them on a personal level.
Oh, great.
But I'm really excited to have it's Eat My Cookie. She is a local baker.
Ah,
She makes everything by hand. Another one that I'm excited about, just because I love candles, is Storybook Candles. She's
oh,
a Huron local, and everything she makes is soy. So they're natural ingredients that, and her scents are just, they're super pure and clean. And I just, that's one of my favorites.
I wonder where her name comes from, the storybook. I wonder if they're named after books or something like that. I see. I'm looking at a list of some of your vendors, and I see Poppin' Around. It's a popcorn vendor out of Vermilion. Do you know much about them?
I do not know much about them. I do know that they have a store in Vermilion. I know that I love popcorn, so I'm super excited to have them. But yeah, they're a local small business. So any chance that we have to support another small business, especially a brick and mortar, I'm open to doing that, or I love doing that.
I see our a friend of the podcast, Beagle Bay Knotworks, is going to be there. They were on our podcast a couple of weeks ago, so they'll have some of their nautical knot creations there. Christine
Yes.
is a lot of fun.
Another fun brick and mortar that's going to be
Yeah.
there that I'm excited about. I don't know her on a personal level. I know that we've crossed paths, but I'm excited to get to know her this weekend.
They have some really cool stuff. You will love it. I see you also have some like vintage clothing.
Yeah,
It looks like Single Stitch Vintage is gonna be there. They're gonna have some hand-picked clothing there available.
yep, single stitch. And there's also a vendor. The business name is called Darn It Betty.
Huh.
She also does vintage clothes, and what she does is like she alters them and adds a little fun, so you'll get a jean jacket with
Oh,
patches and things like that. So I'm always excited about our vintage vendors. Single stitch is new to me, but I'm excited to see what they bring because I love recycled clothes.
very cool. So I also see Mama's Macrame on the list. That sounds interesting.
Yes, her name is Brandy, and she has been doing macrame for 4 years. Extremely talented. She has a huge macrame piece that people use for photo shoots. So it's like this canopy or awning, and there's all this macrame hanging, and you can take photos. But
I was just gonna ask, is that a photo op?
it's already rented for the date, but next year I'm really hoping to have her macrame as a photo op.
Well, that sounds really cool. I see all kinds of different products and things on here. I see honey, I see art, I see jewelry. Oh my gosh, 3611. It's one of my favorite stores in Norwalk. They're going to be there with their hat bar. So you can make your own hat. I guess you embellish your own hat. The hats are already there, but they have I think cowboy hats and baseball hats, and then you can put different little patches and stickers and things on them.
Yes, I'm excited to have her. I live in Norwalk, and so she's one of the small businesses that we love to support in our
Yeah.
town.
As you mentioned, being also a brick and mortar, like that's a downtown Norwalk store, and but yet they're also out at festivals and events like this. What is Junkety Junk Junk?
Junkety junk is exactly that. I'm just joking. Some people's junk is another person's treasure.
Absolutely.
They have the eye. They are treasure hunters, like, and they take that treasure and turn it into something magical. So they are going to have just a huge array of all the fun things that you would have never thought to do with an item.
So you mentioned okay, Lakefront Park in Huron. It's Saturday, June 7th, and remind us of the hours.
9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Perfect. So let's now talk about the return of the Huron Farmers Market. This one's going to be more of a regular event. It's going to be weekly throughout the season. And I just learned from you that it was absent last year in 2024. I didn't even realize that it had gone away. So you guys are bringing it back this season. So tell me a little bit about that.
We are bringing it back. So we are going to be the second and fourth Tuesday of each month from June to August. So there's actually going to be, what is that, 6 events total. And that's also going to be in the same park.
Oh, in Lakefront Park? Okay.
Yep.
So what's going to be happening at the farmers market? What kind of items are going to be available there?
I couldn't believe how many people applied. The last I checked, there was like 36 vendors that applied. So there is going to be an array of produce, honey. Again, there's going to be, baked goods, and even our artist friends. So you're going to see candles, earrings, macrame, and things like that. I was blown away by how many people applied to be part of it.
And remind me again, I'm sorry, what days of the week is it going to be?
The second and fourth Tuesday.
So the second and fourth Tuesdays for June, July, and August.
You got it.
And what's the time for the farmers market?
4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So that will be evenings.
That's great because then you can pick up things after work on your way home, get what you need for the week, get your fresh produce, all of that. So, Rachel, you mentioned before we started recording that you have only been in this role since the beginning of April. What's your favorite thing so far about promoting events throughout the community?
I'm new to this role, but I this is my third year doing the Sandusky Farmers Market. So doing markets isn't completely foreign to me, but my favorite thing from doing this is really just the connection. My background is actually criminal justice, and I worked in my field for a few years, and there was something missing that wasn't my calling, and that's how I basically started creating again. And just being around other creators, other small businesses, there's something about it that kind of fills your cup a little bit and puts a little pep in your step. I love the part where it's more of like when other small businesses collaborate together. There's just something really beautiful about that. And that's
Yeah.
really where the magic starts to happen, is where these small businesses don't look at other small businesses as taking from them. They look at it as an addition to their small business. And that's really what the market does. It's just this collaboration of a lot of people that make similar items, but they have mad love for each other, and everyone supports each other. And that's the part that I really love, just the energy and the support. And I think it's an awesome foundation for especially these farmers markets that we're doing, for anyone that's new and has never, that loves to create but they don't know how to put themselves out there, or they think that they can't do it because they don't have a brick and mortar. That brick and mortar, it's not necessary for the farmers markets.
Yeah.
It's a place where you can rent a space for a small fee and showcase all your creations with other makers that probably have the same blood, sweat, and tears involved as you do. It's really cool.
And I love, markets, farmers markets, craft shows, all of those kinds of things because it's so interesting to see what people are creating and the variety that's available there. And like you said, a lot of times those folks maybe will start out as a vendor at a market and then can turn it into like Beagle Bay Networks as an example. That's kind of what Christine said. She started out just doing markets and shows, and now they have an actual storefront in downtown Huron.
Yeah, it's awesome. Just there's just so much potential, and it's even great for someone that has no interest in having a brick and mortar, but they stockpile all their stuff during the off season, during winter. They work from their kitchen, their dining rooms, and they get all their stuff ready for the season. And I think that there's something really cool about that as well. I really love the markets. I feel like that's where I come alive.
Aw, I love it. You mentioned, Rachel, also the Sandusky Farmers Market. Are you going to be a part of that again this year as well?
Yeah, we're in the middle of organizing that right now, and that's going to be another good event.
I think those are on Saturdays, if I'm not mistaken.
It's every Saturday starting the second week of June, and then running through October, and that's from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m.
And will it be located at Washington Park again?
Yes.
Great. And right in downtown Sandusky, they are just finalizing the Columbus Road kind of beautification project. So that'll be a really, really nice area to be in for the farmers market and to be able to check out all of the shops and restaurants in downtown Sandusky while you're there.
Beautiful.
Where can people find the details about the lakefront market or about the farmers market? Where can they find that information?
We are extremely active on social media. So for Lakefront Market has its own Facebook page. You can go to the Facebook page Lakefront Market. Same with Sandusky Farmers Market, but Destination Huron is always a place to go on Facebook, and we keep all the information updated on that site also.
Great. So you can find the details on your upcoming the Huron Farmers Market, I'm sure, mentioned on the Destination Huron Facebook page, right?
Yes, that's right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Rachel. I really appreciate you chatting with us today and hope that everybody will go check out the Lakefront Market. I believe it's next Saturday. It's June 7th. And when did you say the farmers market was starting in Huron?
That will start the second Tuesday of June.
Perfect. The second and fourth Tuesdays in June, July, and August. They're at Lakefront Park in Huron. Thank you so much, Rachel.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And as a reminder, all of May's episodes of The Shoreline are brought to you by Ghostly Manor and Goofy Golf. So extra special thanks to them for their continued support. And finally, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a minute of the action here in Shores and Islands, Ohio. You can also find more information, including past episodes of the podcast, online at shoresandislands.com. And we will see you next time on The Shoreline.